The ending of Every Year After is bittersweet because it refuses to give us the simple happy ending we may have expected. The biggest emotional question throughout the season is whether Sam and Percy can finally reunite after years apart. For most of the finale, it feels like the story is building toward that outcome. Percy openly admits that she never stopped loving Sam, and Sam admits those feelings still exist on his side as well. Their intimacy in the car proves the attraction and emotional connection never truly disappeared. But love is not the problem. The real obstacle is the damage caused by Percy leaving all those years ago. Sam's confession is one of the most painful moments of the episode because he essentially says that loving Percy and trusting her are two different things. He wants to forgive her, he wants to move on, yet every time he imagines rebuilding their relationship, he's forced to remember the heartbreak she caused. The finale suggests that some wounds never completely disappear. Love can survive for years, but trust is much harder to rebuild. That is why Sam ultimately cannot give Percy the future she hopes for. Their goodbye is not about a lack of love, it's about accepting that love alone is not always enough to repair the past. The Persephone narration at the end serves as the emotional key to understanding Percy's entire journey. In Greek mythology, Persephone spends part of her life trapped in the underworld before eventually returning to the surface. Percy sees herself in that story. For years, she has been emotionally trapped by guilt over leaving Barry's Bay, losing Sam, and feeling unworthy of happiness. She's defined herself through a single mistake. By the finale, that changes. Her narration explains that she finally realizes her identity is bigger than her relationship with Sam. She's not simply the woman who left. She's not defined by one decision, one town, or one heartbreak. That realization allows her to move forward. The fact that Percy becomes a successful horror writer and helps transform the tavern shows that she's finally built a life based on who she is rather than what she regrets. Sue's death drives almost every character arc in the finale. Throughout the season, Sue often acted as the emotional center of the story. Even after her death, she continues influencing everyone through memories, advice, and the lessons she left behind. Her philosophy appears repeatedly. Percy learns to stop running from herself. Sam learns to confront his grief. Charlie begins facing the damage inside his family. Chantal learns to embrace uncertainty. Delilah starts living authentically. The memorial scenes emphasize that grief is not just about mourning someone's death. It's about recognizing what they gave you while they were alive. When Sam admits he still texts his mother every day, we see how deeply he's struggling. His devastating statement that he now feels like an orphan highlights how much of his identity was tied to Sue's presence. For Sam, losing Sue also forces him to realize that time moves forward whether he's ready or not. Charlie spends much of the season acting defensive and emotionally closed off. His fight with Sam reveals years of unresolved guilt and resentment between the brothers. While Charlie tells Sam he loves him, Sam cannot accept it because their relationship has been damaged for so long. The photograph Charlie discovers near the end becomes incredibly important. The image captures a perfect memory from childhood, a moment before grief, heartbreak, and family divisions destroyed their sense of unity. Looking at the photograph reminds Charlie of who they used to be. For perhaps the first time all season, he seems genuinely ready to reconnect with that version of himself, which makes what happens next even more shocking. The finale's biggest cliffhanger comes when Charlie suddenly collapses after looking at the photograph. The episode strongly suggests he suffers a heart attack. He gasps for air and falls to the floor just moments after reconnecting with a treasured childhood memory. Importantly, the episode ends before revealing whether he survives. The show intentionally leaves his fate unresolved. Sue's death arrived without warning. Charlie's collapse arrives the same way. Just when characters begin imagining a better future, tragedy once again reminds them how fragile everything is. One of the final scenes shows Sam arriving at the tavern and smiling at Percy. The show doesn't give them a dramatic reconciliation, a kiss, or a declaration of love. Instead, it gives them a smile. That smile represents possibility rather than certainty. Sam may not be ready to restart their relationship, but he also is not running away anymore. For the first time, both characters are meeting each other honestly, without expectations, fantasies, or unresolved secrets. Whether they eventually reunite is almost secondary. What matters is that both of them have finally healed enough to stand in the same place without being controlled by the past. The ending of Every Year After is ultimately about accepting that healing doesn't always look the way we expect. Sam and Percy do not get the fairy tale reunion they imagined as teenagers. Charlie and Sam do not fully repair their relationship. Sue doesn't get to see the future she dreamed of for her family, yet the finale is still hopeful. The final image of Charlie collapsing after remembering a happier time serves as a reminder that life is unpredictable and unfinished. Just as Percy explains through the Persephone myth, people spend years moving between darkness and light. The season ends with its characters standing somewhere in between, still carrying pain, but finally learning how to live with it.